watching The Advocate on Plus TV Africa. Is it time to give you a piece of my mind? I'll be talking today about emotional meltdown. All of us must have come across it at work or in a family setting. We may even be the ones at the center of it. I'm referring to an emotional outburst or meltdown. Having witnessed a few of these in the work environment, particularly by women, I hasten to add, it got me thinking. Is it that we haven't learned how to manage our emotions, or we don't realize how inappropriate our outbursts are? Please note that although women are typically seen as the more emotional sex, some researchers assert that men have a larger part of their brain devoted to emotional responses and a smaller region for logical thinking than women. In other words, men are more wired to be emotional than women. Interesting. Certainly, no two people are the same, which is why some may endure quietly, internalizing hurts and bearing a grudge, whilst others believe it in let it out and let it go. Yes, I do agree that there are times when an outburst can be therapeutic. However, this benefit quickly gets lost if the occasional becomes the habitual. So, my prescription is good communication. Talking through the issues in a way that allows for the fact that the person on the other side may well not agree with you. In other words, don't bludgeon them with your raised voice or bamboozle them with your tears. All these are a sign of emotional immaturity. I've been there. I tried this out in the early years of my marriage and soon realized it wasn't doing me any favors. Looking back on it now, I indulge my feelings because I couldn't be bothered to keep them in check. The way I felt superseded the comfort or discomfort of others, so I let them have it. It's time we learn to read other people and situations, and to keep our reactions, misplaced expectations, and possible misreading of a situation under surveillance. It's time we developed some emotional intelligence. The dictionary defines emotional intelligence as the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathically. Additionally, we're told emotional intelligence is the key to both personal and professional success. So it's pretty much a big deal. We must ditch the entitlement mentality that says we're entitled to explode our thoughts on people however and whenever we like, just because we feel we've reached the end of our tether. If we spend more time reflecting and cutting other people more slack, we're less likely to be absolute in our reactions and to hit a brick wall in our interactions, which otherwise would predictably result in frustrated outbursts. So let's purpose to grow up for everyone's sake.
Yeah. I had to grow up next, yeah. Okay. So it's a good advocacy you put out there. I think the book that really did change my life, funnily enough, was a book called Emotional Intelligence. Now I can't remember who wrote it, but it was a small blue book, and I needed it because at the time I was considered, kind of like a sport brat. Yeah, I was reacting to everything, and I bet now you're looking thinking, is that the same ooch, we're talking about? Because I'm quite calm these days. But yeah, I used to lose it. I thought I was entitled to lose it, and I thought everybody needed to have it. But unfortunately, it was affecting me. So it wasn't, that I was losing and I was getting anywhere. It was stressing me out. I couldn't really sort of reason things out in a mature way. So I came across this book, and it gave me control over my emotions, over the way I saw things, and a part of it was to cut other people's slack. Okay. So that's what I do now in order to manage my emotions. So, before, if somebody does something, I usually want to reason why they did it. And even if that's not the reason or their motivation, I'll still give it to them, just so that I can stay cool. Because losing my cool is, for me, it just throws me off balance. I can't even, I'll be discombobulated, basically. So I totally agree with this. And I noticed that it happens a lot here in Nigeria. Sometimes, though, it is good to lose your lose it. Because people don't respect you until you lose your. If you don't know the that's up to you. What's the Oh, well, I'm not going there.
I like the advocacy. But you see, I'm a bit extreme. I absolutely see no reason why I should accept a meltdown from anybody. Cool. In other words, if you have any meltdown with me, I will completely blank you out. You may even have to be the one to come back to me and beg me. Yeah. That's, quite frankly, I don't know why I did that.
That someone does that.
No, I don't want.
Happy don't love that.
I don't love that way.
He doesn't respond to that.
I just can't take it. It's, yes,
why you freaking out?
Yes, and that's why I can't remember that I've had one ever in my life.
What if your children have a meltdown? You can't go anywhere now.
Ah, interesting.
You're bound. That's why people melt down with people
they can't melt down.
They tend to melt down people they take for granted.
This one. They can't melt down.
You've forgotten Papi.
No, but I do want to say some men need to have a little bit more, have some more meltdowns. Because what I have seen is that a lot of men, they will internalize stuff and then suddenly they blow up and it just goes crazy. They like go completely out of hand. I think sometimes...
Wait, guys, really?
Internalizing what you're saying. Sometimes you should have a little meltdown. Sometimes...
You see, for me, don't forget that we are product of nature and nurture. And most of the time, the nurture takes the bigger part of your growth and development. The truth is, if you don't understand, is it your personality, is it your temperament, is it your self-discovery, is it your whatever it is, let alone talking about the person you are dealing with, especially at work. We're talking about home, work, and that's why we have something like work-life balance, because somebody just got beaten this morning by the so-called... How can somebody tell you last night, I love you, and this morning, slap? Where's that reconciliation? Do you understand?
I'm looking for where he's going. But
so by the time and such person gets to his to a place of work, how do you expect such a person to perform? So how do you balance that now? For me,
you're saying they go out and they take it out on somebody else.
Yes,
they probably will.
So that's why these days we encourage people in organizations, even in families. Emotional resilience is out of emotional intelligence.
Oh God. I need to come in quickly because I'm hearing too many jargons from too many books. That's just not normal. Uche, my sister, she touched on it. We live in Nigeria, let's deal with reality, okay? Really, honestly. And I think Papi touched on it. First and foremost, you cannot prescribe for people's pain. So you step on my feet or my leg or whatever, you punch me in the face, you do whatever, you yell at me, whatever. I do not have the right to prescribe for you how you should respond. So because at the minute that I've expressed and I've applied that anger onto you, I've lost any right to expect to have any expectations. In fact, like you said, I now need to come and apologize. However you respond. So that's taking ownership of the reactions that we bring out in people. Okay, men.
Okay, so you're saying if someone explodes on you.
Men. Yes, because you understand me? That's the other thing. The other one, men. The other one I wrote down. The other one I wrote down is what Uche said about the meltdown and what you said about the male, female, whatever. It's actually unhealthy, and there are research to back this up to actually hold things in. What Uche is talking about is different. Is in the sense that I now know how to control my response. I can choose when to respond and when not to respond. And as somebody like me who's also, I'm reactive, but at the same time, you know what, Rihanna and Cardi B already said it. Guess what happens? Guess what happens?
I don't know what.
Nobody notices when you don't say anything. It's when you actually speak that they notice, and that's it. So we don't know when people are actually managing and responding and taking, and just walking away. Till the day they were saying, like, what are you doing?
I guess in my case, since
do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I get what you're saying.
When I was a new bride or whatever, I read my husband's, so he's very open kind of person. And, he will say what he thinks and he moves on. And I was, really looking at this thing. He will say some things I don't like, I will internalize, I will swallow. Say another one. So the thing was stacking up until one day he said the last one and I slammed the door and he said, I exploded. And he was just looking at me like, did I marry this person? Who is this person?
Well, he needed to know who you were.
The amazing thing was when I let it all out, he said, do you feel better? I thought he was going to be... I said, I feel so much better. He said, from now on, please try and just find a way to say it. Nothing would have happened if you told me.
Sorry, because of our time, patience is good, but what most people do by internalizing, especially, some kind of people, especially
the grudge.
You keep it, and before you know it, bam. The truth of the matter is, after patience, I think meekness is very, very important. What is that? Even when you have the ability to strike, you choose to keep quiet, but communication is key. In communication and excommunication is very, very key.
Yeah, but smooth communication is not always the...
Well, at least I said my own, or we've all said our own. It's time for you to say yours as regards our advocacy. On whether we still need traditional rulers in Nigeria, Stan DiBravo says, no, we don't. Chuka, I hope you heard that. Nigeria is a republic. You can't have kings in a republic. A republic is supposed to be an egalitarian society of equals under the same law and constitution. But in Nigeria, everything is upside down. Okay. On the cost of westernization, Brandy Wandera says, Africa is waking up. I hope Africans learn their value and worth. Africa is the standard of life to the world. Everyone knows the value of Africa. Maybe they'll say everyone except Africans. Okay. On our advocacies as a whole, Bridget Miller-Taylor says, I cast the YouTube videos to my big screen and enjoy. She's talking about the advocates. I may or may not throw snacks and argue with you because that's what I do. So many of your topics resonate across the diaspora. This is bigger than you know. Well, thanks for letting us know, Bridget.
Thank you, Bridget.
Yeah. It's so encouraging. Okay, keep your comments coming in on our social media platforms. On Facebook, Plus TV Africa, #TheAdvocateNG, or on Twitter and Instagram at Plus TV Africa, #TheAdvocateNG. To catch up with previous broadcasts, do go to www.plustvafrica.com/theadvocate. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Plus TV Africa. Okay, it's time for that quick break. Our new guy on the block takes on a trending topic to extract some insight after the break.